Hey there, boys and girls. How are you doing? Okay, I feel like it's been forever since I've done a screencast, which I guess it has been since it's right after spring break now. So, as you know, we're working on decimals. And today we're going to talk about comparing decimals. The next screencast, which will be a quick screencast, is on ordering decimals because it's the same process, just more numbers. So, I'd like you to go ahead and title your math journal Comparing Decimals. And there's just a couple of different things that you need to know that are different than comparing just whole numbers, okay, because of the decimals. So the first thing, when you compare decimals, you always start at the highest place value, just like with regular numbers. Always start at the highest place value. So that means if you have any whole numbers in your decimal, you start there. Highest place value. And work your way right. Okay. So if I have the number 523 and 18 hundredths, I'm going to start here. And so let's say I have 525 and 18 hundredths. Okay, I start at my 5 comparing those, and then I go to the next number. Still the same. Then I go to the next number, and that's when I see my 5 is bigger. So 525 and 18 hundredths would be greater than 523 and 18 hundredths. Same thing if you don't have a whole number. So just say you have 378 thousandths and 391 thousandths. You start, those are the same, so you move to the next number. The 9 is bigger. So 391 thousandths would be bigger than 378 thousandths. So that's the first thing you need to know. The second thing you need to know is you are going to fill in zeros. So remember how we've been talking about zeros as placeholders? You're going to fill in zeros and make them placeholders. So both your numbers, or when we start comparing, all of your numbers have the same number of digits. Okay. So let's say I am going to compare 37 hundredths and 7 tenths. Well, I want to make sure, so I'm going to put a 0 placeholder there. Okay? So those are the two big things you need to know. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is a strategy to use to compare them. It's called using a T-chart. So I'm actually going to flip over to my flip chart. So using a T-chart to line up the decimals, this makes it easier to identify values according to placement. Because sometimes if you just write the numbers and you have your decimals in different spots, you're not really sure, well wait, that one looks bigger because the decimal's more over to the right. So if you use a T-chart, the decimal goes right on the line, and then you can put your numbers in. Notice I added a 0 placeholder, so then I can compare. My 1s are the same. Oh, right here's where my difference is. My 2. So the 1 in 23 hundredths is greater than the 1 in 96 hundredths. Okay, so that's how you use a T-chart. Once again, you add the zeros to fill in any holes, those 0 place marks. Okay, so here's a problem for you to try. Go ahead, and then once you're done with it, go ahead and start the video up again. So I'm going to add zeros to fill in the holes. So first of all, I'm going to drag my numbers. So I'm going to take my 6 and I'm going to put it right on my thing, my decimal right on. I'm going to add my zeros. Oops. 0, 0. Now I'm going to compare. Zeros are the same. Oh, my 7 is bigger than my 6. So 684 thousandths is less than 7/10. Now you might be saying to yourself, wait, how can that be? This number has more digits than my 7/10. Well, with decimals, because it's part of a whole, the more digits you have, the smaller the pieces. Remember how we did fractions? The bigger the number, the smaller the pieces. Kind of like the same thing with decimals, because now this is thousandths. So remember when we had our tenths place, and our tenths looked like that? But then when we had the hundredths place, so if I add a 4, the hundredths were the little squares. So you can see my tenths are bigger than my hundredths. And that's going to keep going with the thousands and so on and so forth. Okay? So that's why we add our zeros. So here's another one for you to try. Or 3. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video, work out these 3, and then put it up, and then we're going to be done with our video for today. Okay, so I'm going to drag my numbers in, putting that decimal right there. Add my zeros. And we have some more of these problems that we're going to do in class tomorrow. Same, 8 is bigger, which means going to drag my, oops, wrong one. My 8/10 is greater than my 409 thousandths. Let's drag, add my 0. Let's look, 1's the same, 2's the same. Oh, my 8 is bigger, so that goes this way. So 12 and 8/100ths is less than 12 and 8/10. Let's drag and drag. Add my zeros. Okay, 1, 0, 5. So that means 104 and 81/100ths is greater than 105 and 2/10. I'm sorry, is less than 105 and 2/10. Your keyword today is 8. Enjoy your rest of your afternoon, and I'm going to stay here while you guys are in computer lab. Oh no, I'm sorry, today's science lab, and do a video on ordering, which will be quick. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.